Is the chocolate you are eating even real chocolate anymore? You grab a block from the supermarket shelf. You see a familiar brand, maybe a purple wrapper or a promise of creamy milk chocolate, and you assume you are getting what you paid for. But here is what the chocolate industry does not want you to know. Some of the most popular chocolate brands in Australia have quietly replaced cocoa butter with cheap vegetable oils and palm fat. They have swapped real vanilla for synthetic vanillin made from petrochemicals. And they use an emulsifier called PGPR that allows them to reduce cocoa butter by up to 50%. I spent weeks researching ingredient lists, comparing cocoa percentages and investigating supply chains. What I discovered will change how you see that chocolate aisle forever. Australians spend over $3 billion on chocolate every single year. The average Aussie consumes nearly 5 kilograms of chocolate annually. But most of that money flows directly to multinational corporations based in America, Switzerland, and Europe. And a disturbing portion of the world's cocoa is still linked to child labour in West Africa. Let me take you through the worst offenders. Number 1, Cadbury Dairy Milk. This one hurts because Cadbury has been an Australian favourite since the Claremont factory opened in Tasmania in 1921. For generations, Cadbury meant quality chocolate made right here in Australia. But here is the devastating truth. Cadbury is no longer Australian-owned. In 2010, Cadbury was acquired by Kraft Foods, which later became Mondelez International, an American multinational headquartered in Chicago. And the recipe has changed. Look at the ingredient list on a Cadbury Dairy Milk block. You will find PGPR, polyglycerol polyricinoleate. This emulsifier is made from castor oil and it allows manufacturers to use less cocoa butter while maintaining a smooth texture. Industry estimates suggest PGPR can reduce cocoa butter content by up to 50%. Cocoa butter is expensive. PGPR costs a fraction of the price. I did a side-by-side comparison with a block of Cadbury from the 90s that a mate had saved in his freezer versus a current block. The old chocolate had a clean snap and melted smoothly on the tongue. The new version has a waxy coating on the roof of your mouth and leaves a greasy film. Consumer reviews are scathing. People describe it as tasting cheap and artificial, nothing like the Cadbury they remember. And in 2015, Mondelez closed the iconic Claremont factory in Tasmania, ending nearly a century of Australian chocolate production. 450 workers lost their jobs. The factory that once symbolised Australian chocolate manufacturing is now a tourist attraction. Production moved to lower-cost facilities overseas. Number 2, Nestle chocolate bars. Kit Kat, Milky Bar, Smarties, Aero. Nestle is the world's largest food company, headquartered in Switzerland. Their chocolate products dominate Australian supermarket shelves, but Nestle has been at the centre of child labour controversies for decades. In 2005, a lawsuit was filed against Nestle, alleging the company was complicit in child trafficking and forced labour on cocoa farms in Ivory Coast. Children as young as 11 were allegedly forced to work long hours without pay. Although the US Supreme Court ruled in 2021 that the case could not proceed under American law, the underlying allegations were never fully resolved. In 2019, the Washington Post investigated cocoa farms in West Africa and found children wielding machetes and carrying heavy loads on farms that supply major chocolate companies including Nestle. I bought a Kit Kat yesterday and read the ingredients. Sugar is the first ingredient, not cocoa. Then comes wheat flour, then vegetable fat, then cocoa butter appears fourth on the list. The chocolate coating on a Kit Kat contains more vegetable fat than actual cocoa butter. That is not premium chocolate. That is confectionery engineered for profit margins. Look, I know this is a lot to take in. When I first started digging into all of this, I felt completely overwhelmed. I would stand in the supermarket aisle for 20 minutes just trying to figure out which brand was actually Australian owned and which one was just pretending to be. So I started keeping notes. Every brand I researched, every hidden label trick I discovered, every alternative I found. Eventually, it turned into something I use every single time I shop now. I call it my secret Aussie food survival guide. It covers every aisle, every product category, the brands to avoid, the ones worth supporting. If you want to have a look, I have left a link in the pinned comment. Not sure how long I will keep it up there, but it has completely changed how I feed my family. Number 3.
Mars, Snickers and M&Ms.
Mars Incorporated is an American multinational worth over $40 billion. They are privately owned by the Mars family, one of the wealthiest families in the world, yet their cocoa supply chain has been repeatedly linked to child labor. A 2020 report by the National Opinion Research Center at the University of Chicago found that 1.56 million children were engaged in child labor in cocoa production in Ghana and Ivory Coast. Mars, along with other major chocolate companies, pledged in 2001 to eliminate the worst forms of child labor from their supply chains by 2005. That deadline was pushed to 2008, then 2010, then 2015, then 2020. Over 20 years later, the problem persists. I unwrapped a Mars bar and examined the texture. The chocolate coating is thin and waxy. It does not melt cleanly. It leaves a sticky residue that coats your teeth. Compare that to quality dark chocolate that melts smoothly and releases complex flavors. The difference is not subtle. Number 4. Lindt chocolate. Lindt markets itself as the premium Swiss chocolate brand. The gold foil wrapping, the master chocolatier imagery, the premium pricing, it all suggests superior quality. But look closer at the ingredients. Lindt Excellence Dark 70% contains soy lecithin as an emulsifier, which is standard. Their milk chocolate varieties include vegetable fat alongside cocoa butter. That master chocolatier story does not tell the whole truth. Lindt is a massive multinational corporation traded on the Swiss stock exchange with annual revenues over 5 billion Swiss francs. They operate factories across Europe, the United States and Australia. The chocolate is produced at industrial scale, not handmade by artisan chocolatiers. I bought a Lindt Lindor ball and a locally made truffle from a Brisbane chocolatier. Same price, completely different experience. The Lindor had that mass-produced uniformity, sweet, smooth, predictable. The local truffle had complexity, depth, actual chocolate flavor instead of just sweetness. You are paying premium prices for industrial chocolate wrapped in premium marketing.
Number 5. Supermarket home brand chocolate. Woolworths, Coles, Aldi. Check the labels on their cheap chocolate blocks. Many are classified as compound chocolate or chocolate flavored, not real chocolate. Compound chocolate replaces cocoa butter entirely with vegetable fats, like palm oil or coconut oil. Under Australian food standards, if more than 5% of the fat comes from non-cocoa sources, it cannot legally be called chocolate. It must be labelled as chocolate flavoured or compound. These products are significantly cheaper to produce. But the taste difference is obvious. I melted a block of Woolworths home brand alongside a block of real chocolate. The home brand seized up and became grainy. Real chocolate with proper cocoa butter stays smooth and glossy when melted. The compound version also leaves a waxy coating on your palate that lingers unpleasantly. When you buy budget chocolate, you get budget ingredients.
Number 6. Any chocolate with palm oil. This is not about one brand, this is about an ingredient hiding in chocolate across the industry. Palm oil is cheap, shelf-stable, and has a neutral flavor. It appears on labels as palm fat, palm kernel oil, vegetable fat, or under generic terms like vegetable oil. The environmental impact is devastating. Palm oil production is the single biggest driver of deforestation in Indonesia and Malaysia, destroying rainforests and pushing orangutans toward extinction. According to the World Wildlife Fund, an area equivalent to 300 football fields of rainforest is cleared every hour for palm oil production. Beyond the environmental harm, palm oil changes the taste and texture of chocolate. It creates that waxy mouthfeel. It prevents the chocolate from melting properly at body temperature. Real chocolate made with cocoa butter melts at around 34 degrees, just below body temperature, which is why it melts on your tongue. Palm oil-based chocolate does not have the same melting properties. It sits there coating your mouth with fat. Check your chocolate labels. If you see palm oil or vegetable fat, the manufacturer has cut costs at the expense of quality and the environment. So what should you actually buy? First, Hayes chocolates. Hayes is the gold standard of Australian chocolate. The Hay family has been making chocolate in Adelaide since 1915. They are Australia's oldest family-owned chocolate maker, still run by the fourth generation. Hayes roasts their own cocoa beans on site, one of only a handful of bean-to-bar chocolate makers in Australia. No palm oil, no PGPR, no compound chocolate. Just real ingredients processed with traditional methods. I visited their Beehive Corner store in Adelaide last month. The chocolate has depth, complexity, and a clean finish. It melts exactly as chocolate should, smooth and even. Yes, it costs more than Cadbury, but you are paying for actual chocolate, not vegetable oil with chocolate flavouring. Second, Cocoa Black. Founded in Melbourne in 2003, Cocoa Black has grown to become one of Australia's most respected chocolate brands. They source high-quality couverture chocolate and create their products in Australia. Their dark chocolate range delivers genuine cocoa flavour without the waxy mouthfeel of mass-produced alternatives, available at their own stores and selected retailers nationally. Third, Panna Chocolate. If you want organic and ethically certified chocolate, Panna is the answer. Founded in Melbourne, Panna uses certified organic ingredients and is completely palm oil free. Their chocolate is also vegan and refined sugar free, using coconut sugar instead. They are certified by Australian Certified Organic and carry Fair Trade certification. When you buy Panna, you know exactly where your money is going and what you are putting in your body. Fourth, look for local bean-to-bar makers. Australia has a growing craft chocolate scene. Brands like Barhen & Co. in Margaret River, Monsieur Truff in Melbourne, and Chocolate on Purpose in Adelaide are producing world-class chocolate from scratch. These small producers typically source ethically grown cocoa beans and roast them on site, giving them complete control over quality. Yes, they cost more, but you are supporting Australian businesses and getting actual chocolate instead of palm oil confectionery. How to identify quality chocolate? First, check the cocoa percentage. Higher percentages mean more actual cocoa and less sugar and fillers. For milk chocolate, look for at least 30% cocoa. For dark chocolate, 50% minimum and 70% plus delivers real chocolate flavour. Second, read the ingredient order. Cocoa mass or cocoa solids should be in the top 2 ingredients. If sugar is first, you are buying candy, not chocolate. Third, avoid PGPR and vegetable fat. If you see polyglycerol, polyricinoleate, or vegetable fat in the ingredients, the manufacturer has substituted cheap ingredients for cocoa butter. Fourth, check for palm oil. Look for palm fat, palm kernel oil, or generic vegetable oil. Quality chocolate uses cocoa butter, not palm derivatives. Fifth, do the snap test. Real chocolate with proper cocoa butter content breaks with a clean, audible snap. Compound chocolate bends or crumbles. Sixth, check the melt. Put a piece in your mouth without chewing. Real chocolate melts smoothly and evenly. Cheap chocolate leaves a waxy, greasy coating. Here is the bottom line. The Australian chocolate market has been quietly degraded for decades. Multinational corporations have bought iconic brands, changed the recipes, and moved production offshore. Cadbury closed its Tasmanian factory. Recipes now include emulsifiers that replace expensive cocoa butter with cheap alternatives. Palm oil replaces cocoa butter. PGPR allows manufacturers to cut costs. Synthetic vanillin replaces real vanilla. And child labour remains embedded in the supply chains of the world's largest chocolate companies. Every time you buy from Cadbury, Nestle, or Mars, your money flows to American and European corporations. It supports supply chains that have failed for over 20 years to eliminate child labour, and you get an inferior product compared to what these brands delivered just 2 decades ago. The chocolate your parents enjoyed does not exist anymore. What remains is a corporate product engineered for profit, dressed up with nostalgic branding. You deserve real chocolate, made with real cocoa butter, by companies that actually care about quality and ethics. Australian chocolate makers are producing world-class products right here. Support them. If this video helped you understand what is really in your chocolate, hit the like button and share it with everyone you know. Subscribe to Crisis Report Aussie so you do not miss our next investigation. Ring that notification bell. We expose the products these corporations do not want you to question. Drop a comment and tell me, have you noticed your favorite chocolate has changed? What Australian chocolate brands do you recommend? I read every single comment and I love hearing from you. And if you want that guide I mentioned, it is in the pinned comment. Honestly, it has saved me hours of research. Your family deserves real chocolate made with real ingredients by real chocolatiers, not corporate confectionery dressed up with heritage marketing. Together, we are going to hold these companies accountable. I will see you in the next one.